I think it's time again for question and answer. We are a little behind the schedule, so we will try to be short. But on the other side, there are some nice questions to be addressed, so better to spend some more minutes in discussion. I just want to inform the attendees that Alexandra cannot stay longer, so we have 2 questions for her after the transparency regulation speech, and both questions will be or have been already addressed in written forms, and we are going to copy paste answers to the chat. Okay. So now a couple of questions for you, because now it's time for the second speech. So Gloria and Panagos. And so my question, first of all, immobilization in terms of enzymes. So this question comes from Berlian Sari from Indonesia, and they are asking about the immobilization material for enzyme preparation, and what about the one substance, one assessment approach in this case? So is it possible to apply, or are you going to apply the one substance, one assessment approach also for immobilization procedures or reagents?
Okay, maybe I can start and then maybe Panos can complement. Well, first of all, apologies because I am not this enzyme manufacturing is not my area of expertise. But well, first of all, we would need to know which is going to be the use of that enzyme. So if that enzyme is going to be used in a chemical, I don't know, in a detergent or something like that, I assume that yes, this material would be in one way or the other assessed by ECA, and also maybe the residues that material could lead to that enzyme. And then, of course, if we found that this material or the enzyme is common with any food or feed enzyme, of course, the aim is to apply this one substance, one assessment.
Okay, thank you very much, Gloria. I think it's clear. Panos, do you have anything to add? Otherwise, I can move to the second question.
Yes, not much to add. Just one point to make it perhaps even clearer. If the enzyme is a starting substance for the manufacture of materials in contact with drinking water, then it becomes relevant to work we do. If it's obviously not used in making drinking water contact materials, pipes, valves, taps, tanks, then it will not obviously come into our scope of work. That's the one thing I would like to note. If indeed becomes relevant, then indeed there will be opportunities for collaboration and coordination.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Then there are a couple of questions coming from the same person, who is Teresa D'Amore. The first one is about the role of OECD. So what about the role of OECD together with the 5 agencies and so on? And the second one, always from Teresa, is more technical, probably is about the amendment of, during the amendment of the CLP. There are some new classes of hazards included, just for instance, the endocrine disruptors and so on. So how will this impact the framework, one substance, one assessment? So quite complicated both. I'll leave you the floor.
Thank you. I can say a few words about OECD. OECD is one of the partners of ECA, and we do have a range of international cooperations. So ECA is in close collaboration with obviously agencies from different other countries outside the EU, and OECD is one organization that we cooperate with. One area where this is particularly relevant for what we do for drinking water contact materials is that when we create now a new template for the Euclid software that the applicants can use to make applications specifically for drinking water contact materials, this template actually goes out there to partners within the OECD for commenting and collecting comments, because this Euclid is being used far wider scale than just in the EU. So this is one area very clearly that is relevant, the drinking water contact materials, where we are going to be engaging with the OECD members to find out whether they have any comments on how we have set up the software to be able to receive information from the applicants for the submission of their applications to ECHA. I don't know if Gloria wants to add something to that before we move to the second question, please.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, the question is more than complex, is wider. So because indeed this OECD system indeed also delivers guidance documents to for laboratory testing. So in that sense, we rely in that OECD guidance, for example, for toxicity testing, in I would say in all our guidances documents. So then the applicants need to stick to those OECD guidance when they are building dossiers for regulatory products assessment. So, and in that sense, it is those OECD guidance, as Panos said already, is not only under ECHA follows up, but also EFSA, also EMA, and I would say also ECDC if they are dealing with some of these tests, etc. So yeah, it's a very important role, this harmonized international guidance.
That is correct. And to give one example, in the case of low migration, both the EFSA approach and the ECHA approach will be, at least it's right now, to focus on genotoxicity effects of the substances. And if you want to, as an applicant, to submit information about genotoxicity, the genotoxicity tests that you need to undertake, they need to follow certain OECD technical guidance documents. In that respect, we are very much aligned to what the OECD generates.
Thank you very much. Yeah, for the second,
For the second one, to make it quick as well, indeed the CLP is being amended. There will be new hazard classes. These will be taken into account the work we do, and I think that the scope for one substance one assessment goes beyond the hazard classes. If the hazard class is introduced in the CLP, obviously becomes relevant to what we do. For the drinking water directive that we are now we're developing the information requirements, indeed there will be specific obligations for substances that are being used in the manufacture of contact materials for drinking water that are, for example, endocrine disruptors. So we are anticipating this change, and we will be including this requirement in the information requirements for the applicants. And I'm sure when the new version of the food contact materials legislation will be adopted, the CLP amendment will be taken into account accordingly. But obviously, maybe Gloria will have to say something from EFSA side. I'm not representing EFSA here, but I know how well we will be collaborating on this.
Yes, indeed. No, thank you, Panos. Indeed, is clear. Only just to complement a little bit that indeed this CLP revision accounts for this inclusion of these new hazard classes, like the person who wrote the question said, this endocrine disruption class, and also this very persistent and very mobile, etc., etc. So, and this is indeed expected in this revision, this introduction of new classes. What it is not yet, let's say, known if the CLP will extend its scope. So currently the scope of the CLP goes to, under the EFSA remits, to pesticides, and in some areas to the, as Panos said, to the food contact materials, but not to the other food and feed regulatory areas under EFSA. So then just to say that for the pesticides, yes, it will be covered, and as I said, in some aspect for the food contact materials as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Gloria and Panos. We have some other question dropping in the chat, but I think we are running out of time. So if you agree in replying written, we can in write. We can then deliver your replies to the people to the attendees. Okay.
No problem. Please, we can. Well, I can do that.
Okay.
Gloria, I'm sure will do the same.
Thank you very much for your patience till now, for your availability, for all the information you provided us, which are really valuable today. And also a big thank you to Alexandra, who is no longer with us, but I think she opened many doors talking about the transparency regulation.